It is time for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Let's get right into it today. Let's start with Clsk. Look at this wicked candle we got here for Clsk this week. This thing was up how much? 31.43%, and Moonvember has just begun. This is very exciting to see. We had this nice little pullback here underneath the 200, underneath the 21. It looked like it might even want to go a little bit further for a dip, but then it said no and came all the way back up to the 200-week moving average right there at 1367. It is currently stuck right beneath it. Probably would have gone a bit below it yesterday since all the other Bitcoin miners were down on Friday. Well, not all of them. Some of them were up, but they were fluctuating between being down and slightly up yesterday. Actually, some of them closed pretty nice. I guess some of them closed nicely. Anyways, this one is still halted due to that clerical error on the warrants. Hopefully that is taken care of for trading on Tuesday. Remember, Monday the market is closed for Veterans Day, and hopefully we can see this thing take out the 200-week moving average, and we can see it come up to that $15, $16, $17, even $18 level on Clsk. Right now, honestly, I kind of like the way all this looks. The average force is getting weaker to the downside. You can see that the slow and the fast momentum ribbons there are the correct colors. One is kind of going flat. I'd like well, that's the fast one. That can be adjusted quickly. So no, that's the slow one. That doesn't adjust quickly, but it is being brought up. It's outside of oversold conditions there on the ribbon, and we would like to see that fast one pull it up. The fast one might go to the top, come back down to meet the slow one lower, and then drag it up the second go around, but it looks like it is on track to soon bring it up above the 200-week moving average and find ourselves back into this chop that we were in since February until we dropped out of it in July. So hopefully Clsk will soon meet this ascending line right here, hopefully conquer it pretty easily, and we are on our merry way with Moonvember. All right, that's Clsk right now. Hopefully we get that trading again here on Tuesday. Bitdigital was up 20.51% last week. Probably would have been higher if it was halted too. No, it wouldn't have. It was up 3% on Friday. Anyways, we did a nice big engulfing candle. This looks a little bit like a megaphone. Here, I'll draw it for you real quick. Got a bit of a megaphone looking pattern right here. Bitdigital tends to do this pattern frequently, kind of like that. Right, yeah, kind of like that, where it's making higher highs and lower lows at the same time. We got this nice big engulfing candle here last week. That is beautiful. If we can hold right where we are right here on that, that's actually a pretty good sign that we're going to go higher on Bitdigital. We also saw Ethereum finally came to life last week with some nice big moves. We can see that the average force is going the right way. It is getting bigger on the yellow side. We can see that both the momentum ribbons are the correct color and pointing the right way. That slow one is nice and wide, scooping up all that liquidity to move itself up even higher. That's pretty exciting to see. I like that. I like all of that, actually. And for Moonvember, we're already getting close to these highs back here, right at about 486. Now, I know that wicked a little bit higher back in, when was this? Back in December of 2023. It wicked a little bit higher than that, but we're getting pretty close to the solid body candle closes from that period in time. I do think that we are very likely going to see price go above that this time around. And what's going to hold us, what's going to be our support here? Likely the 21-week moving average. I don't see us really going any lower than 337. We might, if things get really hot, we might see ourselves being held up by the 5-week moving average, which is currently at 384, and bounce off of that as we drive higher and higher going into the cycle, much like we did back here. Exactly like this move right here back in March 2023, where we just went up and held the 5, and the 5 just brought us up and up and up and up and up and up and up until we found a peak, and then we dropped off. So how much did that move give us when we did that? When the 5 was holding us up, it was a very strong move, and it was 404%. Do I think we're going to get 404% right now? No, I don't think we're going to get 404% right now, because that would be quite a lot. Let's see exactly what that price would be. Actually, if we did 404%, let me just bring this out. It looks, I bet it's probably up in that $13, $14 range. 404%. If the 5 started holding us, we'll start right here at the top of this candle. Goes off my chart here. All right. Let's go this way. 404% would put us about $21. That's a lot. About $21. No, I don't think that's going to happen right now. Could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen right now. I think what we're looking at is probably closer to maybe not there. No. Maybe if we're super duper lucky, probably coming into these wicks back here, like $7-8, that would be a pretty big driver. Now, I've been wrong before on the upside, and these things do move in dramatic fashion, so I wouldn't be super surprised if we saw like 10. But I think if we had like a really good like November, December, there is a chance we could come up, touch the bottom of this wick here, which is currently at about 650, maybe drive a little higher into like 750 on Bit by the end of the year if Ethereum cooperates and gives us the performance we expect from it. So that's what's going on with Bitfarms. The closure was, they gave us 20.43%. All right, so it's keeping up with its peers this week. That is good. We are out of this really bad descending channel. We are out of this other slightly less aggressive descending channel, the bigger one. Currently, for this to be a breakout, we need to stay out of these channels for a week or two here without revisiting them. Okay, we are currently below the 200-week moving average at 234. We do need to conquer that to see further upside. For Bitfarms, it's harder to say because a lot of the growth has been stunted by outside factors and by the fact that institutions have been somewhat somewhat apprehensive to be purchasing Bitfarms right now. So I'm a little bit, it's less clear what Bitfarms is going to do right now. Like, could it drive really high? Yes, it could. Do I expect that? Not necessarily. I'm thinking maybe the top of the ATR band at like 316, maybe a little higher than that, maybe a bit higher than the top ATR band, 350, 375. But to drive it higher than that, and get back up to this box, which was my previous target before some of the drama, like the high 4s, low 5s, that's going to require institutions to step back in and start buying heavily, which just hasn't happened yet. When it does, though, we'll be very clear. It'll be very clear, kind of like back here in November 2023, where that was very clearly institutional buying, driving it all the way up, and then they did a little sell-off, and the retail came in for a little pop-up at the end. So Bitfarms is a little more difficult to call. I would say probably the top ATR bands for sure, sometime before the end of the run, and maybe it'll peak up a little bit higher. But if we see some institutional candles, I'm talking some God candles here coming through that are like 50-60% a piece. That means institutions step back in. That means that we are on the road to the moon for Bitfarms, and that will be what I'm looking for to say, hey, yeah, this is gonna moon. This is gonna take off with force. But right now I can't say that, so because I haven't seen it. And in fact, it's been more of an exodus out. So hopefully we see that, some of those candles. Hopefully we see this thing drive higher. Hopefully we will get the performance that we would like to see out of Bitfarms, because honestly, Bitfarms does deserve it. It is one of the most efficient miners around, arguably one of the best miners around, and I'd like to see them succeed. All right, Mara. Okay, Mara. We got 19.49%, a little bit of an underperformance. There's a theme with this 200-week moving average on a lot of these outside of Bit Digital, which is above it. They're all kind of coming right up on the bottom of the 200-week moving average. They need to conquer that line. The 200-week moving average needs to be erased from the top of the board and put back down to the bottom of the board beneath us so that we can climb higher. It's necessary. It's got to happen. Now, all the things are pointing the right way. Okay, average force getting smaller to the downside. The fast stochastic, the fast ribbon here, as I like to call it, is pointing straight up pretty much. The slow one is green. It is on the edge of being in oversold territory, which it can hang out in for a while. I wouldn't be surprised to see the fast one come back down, tap it one more time, and then drag that thing up higher with it the second go around, just like I'm thinking with Clean Spark. Now on Mara's a little more clear about what it could potentially do. So we're coming back up on that most traded zone over here, that 1980 line that I've got right here. If we can break that, we've got room. Honestly, I don't even know if this 22 is going to be an issue anymore. I think we might just see ourselves go past that since we've been beneath it for so long. So I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that. Okay. We get past that. I'm looking at the middle of this big ascending channel I've got on here, right here, which is currently at about 2560. I'm looking at that. For the end of the Christmas rally, I don't know if Mara gives us some news. Mara's been pretty quiet lately. If they have like a bombshell they're going to drop on us for like the Christmas season, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing trading back up at $30, $35 again, because Mara has been kind of underperforming. They've been pretty quiet. They haven't really announced anything. They haven't really done a whole lot recently. I think they've got something up their sleeve. I feel like they're being sneaky. I think they've got something they've yet to tell us about that's going to drive price higher here pretty soon, because they've just been really dormant for a bit. And that's just weird for the largest publicly traded Bitcoin miner to just be dormant, not really have any news come out, not really have anything to say, especially going into Q4 after the halving. You know, we got a pro-Bitcoin president coming in 2025, and it's just crickets over at Mara. They've got something. They've got something up their sleeve, and I'm waiting for that thing to come out. And I'd like to see it come up to, you know, the mid ATR, or the top ATR band for sure, maybe even back into the 30s, back to the top of this channel, which would be, I mean, if we did it by December, end of December, that'd be $33 top of the channel, this ascending channel here for Mara. That's what I'm expecting. To the downside on Mara, I wouldn't see it going much lower than $14. Any lower than $14, we're going to be having a bad time. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think dips will be met by rips right now, going through the end of the year and into the new year, Q1 likely as well. Let's take a look at Riot. Riot, that is the candle. This is the candle I'm looking for in Bitfarms. This is what I want to see on Bitfarms right there. Now that's only 35%. It's like 50, 60%, but that is an institutional buying candle right there. Institutions are back with Riot. That is the type of candle I want to see on Bitfarms right there. That big old candle there, just engulfing everything behind it. This thing just slicing through the 200-week moving average. The fast, the slow momentum ribbons, both pointing the correct direction. The slow one opening up its mouth to scoop up all that liquidity on the way up. That is what I want to see right now, especially with the average force coming up as well. Riot is looking like it's ready to outperform right now. This is the type of move I want to see from all the Bitcoin miners. Somebody has decided to turn on the money spigot for Riot here last week, and I think it's probably going to continue into next week. Will Riot surprise and be the fastest moving car out of the Bitcoin miners this season? Is that going to happen? They were beat down pretty bad for a pretty long time. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm personally not invested in Riot. I'm still pretty salty about their basically hostile takedown of Bitfarms, and I just didn't like that. But if you're in Riot, I think you're pretty happy right now. Things are moving up. They're looking up. It's giving us the candle we want to see. It came up, right? Did a little jolt up, bull flag launch. We might come back to the 200-week moving average at 1088, right? 1090. We might come back to that, and that will be that dip, which will likely be met by another rip. So if you see that, I'd be looking to potentially buy any pullbacks on that. I personally am not getting into Riot, but if you're in Riot, that's what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for to pull back to the 200-week moving average or close to it, and then launch from there. And of course, remember, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Just some guy on YouTube talking about stock charts. Let's take a look at Iren. How's Iren doing? Iren gave us a pretty good candle too. That's a 21.44% candle. We came right up to my line the last 2 weeks, just kissed it, and then fell down a little bit. This wedge here, not this wedge, this triangle here, broke out to the upside like I was expecting, and this beautiful, I think, Iren. For Iren, I'm looking for the 5-week moving average, which is currently at 958. I'm looking for that to hold us up and drag us higher. My targets, as you know, for Iren, my targets are between 1730, 1740, all the way up to almost $20 on Iren for this cycle. That is what I am looking for. I will likely start selling around, the mid 17s. I'll start selling into that strength, and I'll hopefully complete my selling of Iren up in the high 18s, low 19s. That is what my personal plan is. It will adjust if we don't get there, just like with Doge and everything else that I hold. But that is my current plan. It gets up to the mid 17s. I'm going to start selling into that strength. It gets up to like the low 19s. I'm going to sell most of it, hold a bit of it for a moon bag, see what happens, see if it launches in like the mid 20s, hold like 100 or 200 or something for that. If it gets up into the mid 20s, I'll sell that and treat myself to something nice with that little moon bag there. And that's how I'm going to treat Iren. I see this thing going higher. Again, the 5. We're watching it to be held up by the 5, just like back here. Right here. See this move right here? We got up above. We came into the 200 and the 21. We went up above it, and then the 5 held us. From May 20, we went from 596 all the way up to 1584, with the 5 supporting us the entire way. This is the type of move I'm looking for right now. Okay, that is what I want to see. If I don't see that, I think the move is going to be weaker, and then I'll start readjusting and thinking, well, maybe it'll only get to 16 bucks. Maybe it'll only get to 15 bucks. I'll start making those adjustments as we go. But right now, as long as that 5 holds us up, yeah, I think we're going to be seeing some pretty good things out of Iren. Let's move over to Corz. Corz is a beast. Look at this thing. This bearish ascending channel, it just said nay. It went higher. It said, no, I will not be subjected to that bearish pattern. I will go higher. I will go outside the ATR bands. That thing's probably outside of my 3x Bollinger Band. Let's take a look. Corz is an unstoppable beast. It's one of the few things I kind of wish I was in that I'm not in, and it's too late for me to get in. Yeah, it went up to the top of the Bollinger Band, so I would expect some pullbacks on this soon. I keep saying that, and it just doesn't, though, so don't listen to me on Corz, I guess. This thing just cannot be stopped. I'd like to see, like, none of these moves are healthy. These are just such unhealthy moves out of Corz. It just will not stop. It just goes up and up and up and up. It's like gravity does not apply. So that's Corz. Maybe it'll come back down to $14. Maybe it'll just shoot up to 100. I have no idea what's going on with this thing. It is not. The rules do not apply to it, I guess. So watch it. I mean, it's outside of the top ATR band, so I would want to see it come down. But remember, back here in June, it stayed outside of the top ATR band for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. It was outside of that thing before it came back down. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Corz right now. I don't know what's going to go on. It seems to just completely defy gravity in every way. Just rules don't apply to it, so it just keeps going. Congratulations if you're in it, especially if you got down here at like $2. This thing's at $17 now. So congratulations to everybody in this thing. I'm sad that I'm not with you on that one, but good job, everyone. Wulf, what's going on with Wulf? Oh, this is a good one too. 33%. I like that. 33%. That's pretty good. It also had a bit of a rising thing wedge going on that it came beneath and then shot back above. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and delete that now. I should delete that on the Corz chart as well. We're outside of the top ATR band. I'd like to see it come back down. But again, just like Corz, it has stayed above that for multiple weeks in the past. So it could stay right where it is right now, bouncing off that top ATR band and just driving higher into $8, $9, $10. I could see this thing. It came up to my targets. It's pretty much at my targets here, my bull case targets for Wulf. Did a bit of a scoop here and launch pad off of nearly the 200-week moving average and just went up and never looked back. I would like to see it come into this aggressive line here, this trend line, and bounce off of it one more time, maybe taking us up to $10, $11. I don't really see us getting higher than $11.50. But, I mean, it is possible. Wulf is one of those ones that just seems to outperform consistently, much like Corz. All the momentum indicators that I personally look at are in the right direction here. We got average force going up. We've got the momentum ribbons both pointing basically straight up, not looking back at all. Wulf is on fire. Wulf is unstoppable, basically, is what this looks like. If I were to say it were to pull back, yeah, I'd say maybe we'd get a pullback to like 650, but I mean, that's a maybe. We don't know. I have no idea what's going on with Wulf. It is unstoppable. Hut actually hit $20. Hut hit my mark, pulled back, and went higher. I would like to see it get above $20.91, and then I'd be getting super duper bullish on it to go up to the top of the channel here around 25, 26 bucks on Hut. On the downside, oh, so this is what I want to see on the other miners. Actually, Hut is doing what I want to see on the other miners. Okay, so Hut it came into the 200, right? And then it started going up and being held up by the 5-day moving average. It is currently being held up by the 5-day moving average. As long as this thing does not break the 5-day moving average, it can keep driving higher. Okay, not 5-day, 5-week. The green one, the little thin green line, the 5-week moving average, the 5-week EMA, to be exact, the exponential moving average. That's the one I use for this. It's just like back here in May, right? It held up above the 5-week moving average and it just drove higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until it finally came down and broke it and went below it. Okay, so this is strength. This is the kind of strength that personally I'd probably be selling into. It got up, it went from 8 to 20 over $20, I would likely be nibbling on some sales at this point on HUT. This thing is getting pretty frothy. It's getting pretty hot. I would expect it to come back to the 5, but if it breaks the 5, it's going to come down a lot more. So I would take a little bit of lifestyle chips at this point, see if the 5 holds. If the 5 holds, I'd hold it a little longer. If it went a bit higher, I'd take a little more off the top and then just do that over and over again until it breaks the 5. That's my personal plan. But of course, remember, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. HUT, however, is doing exactly what I want to see on the other miners. It's done it other times too here, right? See, it holds the 5, holds the 5, holds the 5, then it finally breaks it, and then boom, falls down. Comes up, holds the 5, holds the 5, holds the 5, breaks it, comes all the way down. So right now, the 5 is holding it up, and that is a beautiful thing to see. That's what we want to see replicated in our other Bitcoin miners. Let's move on to Cifr. Cifr, that is also the type of candle you want to see. Cifr got a 36.38% move last week and went above this ascending channel here. Cifr is making a really sweet breakout move here. I don't know who decided they wanted Cifr, but some institutions decided, like right here with that 41% move back in September. Then we went flat. They let some retail take the reins for a little bit, and then last week they were like institutions back in again and just took it higher and higher and higher. So average force going the right way. These two momentum ribbons pointing the right way. The slow one opening its mouth wide, gobbling up all of that liquidity, filling its bags. Where can we go from here? So we came to an area of resistance beneath this little formation over here. So we're actually going to go over here and we're going to look. Okay. We came into the resistance here. So we could actually fail here, potentially. I don't think we're going to, though. I'm currently looking at about this line here. Yeah, about 985, 994. Looking at about 984 right now for Cifr as its next move. So that's not a bad move. It's another $2.50, $3 move almost for Cifr. On the downside, I'm looking at the 5. The 5, which is all the way down here at 62? It's all the way down at 562. Again, the 5 is holding it up just like on HUT. So we want to watch the 5 EMA on the weekly holding it up. And as long as it's holding it up, it's going to drive higher. If it loses the 5 on the weekly, we come down low. That's how that's going to work. Cifr's looking great up to potentially even $10 here. And on the way down, I'd be looking at 562 to hold me up. Okay, let's move on to Hive. How's Hive doing? Oh, there we go. There we go. Hive got a 31.36% move. It finally took out that high. Okay, this is what we wanted to see on Hive. I am now bullish on Hive up to this line here at 562. No, but for real, this is what I wanted to see. This bull flag pop up holding above the previous high. That is good. Hive hasn't done that in a really long time. So that's actually a really good thing to see. I'm actually pretty happy to see that on Hive. It was looking pretty bad for a little while there. The momentum ribbons are looking fantastic. The average force is looking great. So Hive is finally making some moves that I wanted to see out of it. This is very exciting. If you're holding Hive, this could potentially be the mark of a change in character here from this just lower highs, repeated lower highs, to finally making some higher highs out of Hive. All right. So Luna, the lotto play. This is one that I've got a small amount of. It is a lottery play. I'm willing to lose the whole lot of it to see what happens here. So this thing is not doing great this week. So while the others were going up, the lotto play the week before came down 17%. This week went up 10%. That's really weak. That's really, really weak. It's back into my accumulation zone area right here. I would like to see it come up and go above 460 before I'm feeling really good about it again, up to potentially like $6-7 on Luna. But right now it does look bad. We're getting a doji down here underneath the 200, underneath the 21, underneath all the important ones here for Luna. These are all wispy and weak looking. Average force is kind of going flat here. It doesn't look good right now. But of course, it's a lotto play, so I'm not really too concerned about it. I'm just kind of holding until it does its thing. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Do not sleep on the sticker shop. That is also available in the description and channel bio. And have a profitable day.